What's way more dangerous than most people think? Moose. Bigger threat to people up here than bears. Clarification: by up here I mean Canada. Another clarification: we have a lot of moose and not a lot of grizzly bears. The more common bears, black bears, while still shouldn't be provoked, are a lot smaller and more timid than grizzlies. Not to mention everyone knows to be afraid of bears. They're large carnivores. Most people don't know to be afraid of moose. Hitting a moose with your car is pretty well a guaranteed fatality, but it's also highly underestimated how dangerous these things can be on their own. They can be around the same height as a transport truck and have a nasty temper if you decide to bug one, being knocked unconscious. Lots of popular media makes it seem like a minor thing that an average person can shrug off after a short period. In reality, if you are ever knocked out, then you have suffered brain damage. It's possible there might not be any lasting effects, but it's a serious injury and you 100% need to see a doctor if it ever happens to you.
Hey guys, much like you, I love reading people's stories on Ask Reddit. Unfortunately, there's a lot of weird middle school level, just thought experiment type hypotheticals like nice try Baskin Robbins. I don't find this compelling, so that's why I've made it my mission to trawl and crawl through Ask Reddit and find the very best content and put it in your ears. That's why I'm begging you, like and subscribe. If there's anything I can do to help you out, give you the kind of content that you crave to help you get through your workday, let me know in a comment. But please, like and subscribe.
Man, I've done a full shift driving hundreds of miles, getting in and out the car for hours and filling in the reports. The worst one was I had like 2 hours sleep the previous night, and at the end of my shift I thought I saw a UFO. I was absolutely convinced. Turns out it was the moon. I'm from Florida. My whole entire life I was taught to swim parallel to shore when stuck in a rip current. They teach it in schools. There are commercials about it. The signs say it. You'd think it would be ingrained. But what does my grown ass do the first time I got sucked into a rip current? Panicked my ass off and almost drowned. Deep cuts on your fingertips. They're called felons and can infect your bloodstream. Clean them out, and if you see a red line traveling up your arm, get yourself to the ER immediately. My neighbor almost died from this when she cut her finger on her violin string. Removed my advice about changing tires. My main point was don't go under your car if the tire's off without a jack stand. But that should be obvious. And put some weight in the middle, a simple jacket will do. That way, in case the rope does snap, shit can still happen, the small weight gives just enough momentum to send the energy down, so it will hit the ground or your legs. Your legs will still shatter, but way better than your rib cage or your face. My mom got drunk and bit my dad. He had to get a tetanus shot. To give some more details, they were in Disneyland when it happened. Story I pasted into the comments. So I guess what had happened was my mom got completely trashed and was gonna go stay with some guy she had met in the park. She's an alcoholic. My dad was like, if you go stay with this guy, you're not coming back to the room. So he locked her out. She had her fun with random guy, came back to a locked room and started pounding on the door. When my dad opened it, she bit him, and then the police were called. Thanks for the awards. DM on my phone so the formatting is janky. Walking downstairs with your hands in your pockets. Never ever do it. Especially not drunk. A fall down even 1 or 2 stairs with no hands to catch you can break your neck. I've seen a video of a man tripping and falling down 4 stairs, hitting the top of his head on the wall and dying right there in the stairwell. Newts. Many newts, such as the rough-skinned newt, produce a toxin that is 10 times more potent than cyanide. They are only dangerous if you handle them and then don't wash your hands afterwards, or if you eat the newt. There have been multiple reports over the years of someone eating a newt as part of a hazing ritual for a college fraternity, and then dying. The toxin that some newts produce can kill you inside of 15 minutes because the toxins block the sodium receptors in your nerves, essentially stopping your brain from communicating with your heart. Scary stuff. TLDR, if you handle a newt, wash your hands. And never put a newt in your mouth or you will die. Did not think this would blow up this much. Thank you to the Redditors that provided so much information about tetrodotoxin. To see it in action, check out this video from Nat Geo. I'm 40 with the hearing of 70-year-old. Tinnitus, constant ringing in both ears. Certain music can make it worse and drive me absolutely batty. Can't hear people at restaurants and bars. What? Protect your ears. Just had a bonus feature, all ringing goes away, then a singular tone comes up in one ear at double the normal volume. Woke up to 146 replies, yes, tried the hands over ears drum head thingy to no avail. Yes, headphones, in car, loud bars and heavy metal concerts have destroyed it. Remembered 2 things. 1. Probably got tinnitus from Metallica 2004 concert. I remember having a phone sales job where it was painful to be on the phone for 3 days. 2. Was applying for medical studies to make some summer cash. Got my hearing tested for 1, already had a high frequency loss. I was 20.
Did you know that when you drink tea from a tea bag, especially a cheap tea bag, you are exposing yourself to microplastics greater in quantity than from any other source? Microplastics are the #1 health risk of our generation, and they will have unknown consequences on future generations. So, if you value your health, destroy your tea bags. But that doesn't mean you can't enjoy great tea. I'm going to post affiliate links for my own homebrew loose leaf tea concoction that I drink every single day. It has no microplastics, and it honestly tastes better than tea from a tea bag ever did. So be sure to click the links below and get on the loose leaf tea train to avoid poisoning yourself and your children.
True story. As a 14-year-old, I played a game of tug-of-war with a large number of people, and the rope snapped and whipped back and hit me, leaving me with 3 fractures in my hands. 3 surgeries and lots of PT later. I'm happy to report no nerve damage, but am never playing that game again. The dangerous part of drowsy driving is nobody really takes it very seriously. It's not like a cop will test you on breathalyzer or something, so most people will ignore it. It takes a split second to fall asleep while dreaming that you are awake and still driving and end up killing innocent people. It's the same as DUI, just being knocked in the head in general. People are so cavalier in fights. I think that movies have people being hit with the butt of a gun, a shovel, and being okay. I'm not a doctor or nurse, but I'm pretty sure simple bumps and knocks can have potential damage. The human being is fragile as fuck. My last statement is merely hyperbole. I'm well aware of how resilient the human body is. Moose were so underrated as a threat for so long that they've become a bit overrated. I've had Reddit arguments with people suggesting they're on par with grizzlies. I've been close enough to both animals in the wild to smell them. Grizzlies are a shit ton scarier than a moose. Moose are just a lot more common and people don't take them seriously as a threat, both of which increase the chances of a bad encounter. To be clear, by on par, I'm referring to an attack situation, people saying that an attacking moose is on par with an attacking grizzly. No, it's not. Okay, I've thought this through. Risk is probability x impact, right? All I'm talking about here is impact. Moose definitely win on the probability side of things, because of how common they are and how unpredictable they can be, and because grizzlies generally want to be left alone. So I'm clarifying my initial comment. In terms of risk, PXI, moose are probably a greater risk overall, because there are like 20 of them for every grizzly in North America, and they're more likely to attack. But if the only question is which one is more devastating to be attacked by, a moose or a grizzly, I'm definitely going with the grizzly. I'm not going to bed with a heavy conscience. I have never actually smelled the bear in my closest encounters. I have been within 25 feet of both brown and black bears on foot, unarmed and scared as hell. But I didn't smell them. I just said so as shorthand for how goddamn close those encounters were. Now, moose, I have smelled those. Wall of musk, those guys. Aussie here. You wear a eucalypt on a hot day in the middle of a drought. Eucalypts shed branches when stressed. Usually it's small clusters, but sometimes you'll jump 6 feet to hear a massive crash outside and see a huge motherfucker on the lawn. The amount of times we've almost had one land on our car, not getting regular checkups. I almost died because I had an internal hemorrhage that was slowly killing me. I was so depleted of iron and blood that the nurses thought my vitals were written in wrong because I should have been dead. I needed 3 pints of blood in one sitting. My grandma almost died this way. She fell when getting out of the tub. Her phone was in sight but out of her reach. Her neighbors heard pounding but didn't think anything of it. She was naked and alone on the floor with a broken hip for 3 days. Spelling, this is a good one. I almost got plowed to death by an SUV once because a lady fell asleep while driving with her 2 small children, took out a sign, and came at me on the sidewalk. I had to action dodge behind a tree. She and the kids were all okay, just really shaken up, and I called them an ambulance and hung out until paramedics came to check on everyone. I was pretty shaken up about it myself, really. You don't expect that. Especially in the middle of the day. Don't drive tired, kids. Grew up swimming in the ocean and had swimming lessons since I was in diapers. Have always been a strong swimmer and confident in the water. When I was a young teenager I got caught in a rip current. I quickly realized what was happening as I was swimming as hard as I could toward shore and was still going in the wrong direction. Even though I was a strong swimmer, I panicked. I was alone in the water and thankfully composed myself. Regardless of ability, it's still pretty terrifying. This, which I guess qualifies as ignorance. Yesterday I commented on a world news thread where the top comment gave completely wrong information about the article that was posted. It was an assumption based on the title of the article. The poster quickly retracted what they wrote in another comment, but people kept upvoting the comment that was giving wrong information. I was really baffled and realized very few people were actually reading the article, which in and of itself had been ripped off, was a transcription of a short BBC video. Both the original video and transcript article were misleadingly titled. One decried starving elephants and the other celebrated freed elephants. Though the original video mentioned both topics, it was about neither. People just upvoted what they probably thought summarized the article best. So if people in world news are reading the title of the article, which was very misleading, and top comment of a thread thinking that's a good indicator of what the article said, 8.2k Redditors are now misinformed. This was not a top front page article, but it really shows how quickly misinformation can spread. Edit to add, check your sources, people. I remember this was a major pet peeve of mine back in college when my peers quoted Wikipedia, which in turn was quoting blogs. Wiki is now much more reliable, but it's still best to look at the source at the end of the wiki page you're reading. You also have an option in Google search that enables you to find academic publications. Scholastic articles and the likes are best to look up scientific information. Use it.
This year, like I said, I'm having a midlife crisis. I've started a YouTube channel and I'm on a big health kick. One thing that I found is very easy to eat, very easy to prepare, is I heat up chickpeas with chicken broth and tikka masala. And there are two schools of thought about how you should eat beans. Some people believe you should buy the dry beans and soak them, but I tried that and it was a disaster. So I buy canned beans every time. And if I'm opening like 2 cans a day to be on this diet, it is a massive pain in the ass if the can has this jagged metal edge. You know, I'm worried if like little bits of metal are getting into my food, I'm going to slice up my intestines. So I found this special can opener that actually opens the can in a way that is completely safe, no metal's getting in your food, and is 1,000 times better than any other can opener I've ever used. So if you wind up, opening a lot of cans for whatever reason, maybe you've got a cat or something, you must buy this can opener from my affiliate link.
My old roommate got a cut on his finger from a broken glass in a sanitation sink, bartender, and was complaining that it was sore and swollen. I had heard about the if you see a line going up your arm, you need to get to a hospital thing, and asked to see his arm. Sure enough, he had a red line almost to his elbow. He got to the ER and caught it in time.
I turned 36 this year and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out, but there is an amazing kind of earplug. It's called Mack's Pillow Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Mack's earplugs today.